Bud Light and Anheuser Busch are in a true panic mode, and they're still on their firing spree. They're still firing more people, and there's even rumors out there that they could be firing their CEO soon. We'll go over that later on in the video. This stuff is getting pretty crazy. As you can see, this article right here, third-party ad agency behind Dylan Mulvaney partnership fired by Anheuser Busch. Anheuser Busch has cut ties with a third-party ad agency at the center of the partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. A letter was sent to Anheuser Busch distributors confirming that the agency is no longer employed by the company, according to sources cited by the New York Post. This comes after Daniel Blake, an executive for marketing at Anheuser Busch covering mainstream brands, took a leave from his role, and Bud Light Vice President of Marketing Alyssa Heinerschneid was placed on leave in late April. And we all know what placed on leave really means. We all know that that's actually being fired, but they don't want to come out and say that they're fired because then the left would get really mad, and any good favor that they gained with the Dylan Mulvaney whole ad campaign would all go down the drain. So obviously they can't just come out and say, yeah, we fired everyone involved with that. We totally disavowed Dylan Mulvaney and that whole campaign, because then they would lose any good favor that they gained with the left. Because there are people on the left who drink Bud Light. While they have pandered to the right, they have donated to the Republican Party and things like that in the past. There's, it's not like the left refuses to drink Bud Light, but if you do fire people like Alyssa Heinerschneid and her boss, which were both placed on leave, and like I said, we both know that that means that they're going to be fired eventually. They're just transitioning, no pun intended, slowly into the unemployment phase. So they just don't want to fire them completely because they know the left wouldn't take kindly to that, and it would go from being indifferent. You're not drinking Bud Light because you're on the right or because you're on the left, but if they do fire everyone who's involved with the Dylan Mulvaney hire, then you would not drink Bud Light because you're on the left, because you support people like Dylan Mulvaney. That would end up happening. So they obviously can't do that. The company sent one personalized can to Dylan Mulvaney, who subsequently made 2 posts with the can. Bud Light sales for the week ending on April 15th following the post were down 21% in volume, and then the days between April 17th and 22nd, Bud Light sales were down 26.1% from what they were a year ago, according to Connecticut-based Bump Williams Consulting. 26.1% is absolutely insane. And I always see a bunch of people coping on Twitter saying 26% is nothing, this is a failed boycott. And I always say, and I think it's a perfect comeback, well, give me 26% of your income then, and we'll see how much it is. And, but the joke is there that, the people on the left who are complaining and saying that this boycott is nothing probably don't even make that much money, so it probably wouldn't be that much getting 26% from them. But anyway, the third-party ad agency behind Dylan Mulvaney partnership fired by Anheuser Busch is definitely another big story. It shows that they're not done. I said this before. The shareholders are going to want heads to roll. The shareholders are going to want people to be held accountable. And the only way, or the main way, in my opinion, the best way to do that is to fire everyone who was involved in the Dylan Mulvaney ad campaign. And hiring or firing the third-party ad agency that you hired to do this is definitely a good step in the right direction. But like I said, there are some people saying that the CEO may get fired. The 3 likely ways Bud Light disaster might end, and only one is good news. So here we have an article from Fox News telling us all the ways that this could actually go. The first one they have is surrender to the left. Forget the slogan, go woke, go broke. Almost every major company around the world has embraced leftist attitudes. Call it ESG or Marx. Corporations took a sharp left turn. For Ducaris or his replacement to turn right would be a huge risk. It's much easier to go along to get along. That is the path of least resistance. That's where most celebrities are and where marketers tell them that the young future drinkers are as well. That fight has already escalated. Chicago's Two Bears Tavern Group, owner of 4 gay bars, criticized Budweiser for abandonment of its support of Mulvaney. Now Budweiser is facing boycotts on both sides, which we all knew would happen if they ended up apologizing or fence riding, because if they fence ride, then both sides are mad. Nobody's happy. Budweiser's jumped smack dab into the middle of culture wars. If they pick one side, they risk offending the other, and if they choose neither, this is me talking, not the Fox article, if they choose neither, then both sides are mad. So they must choose now. They got themselves involved in this culture war, and now they must choose. Surrender to the right is their second option. Asking businesses to do the right thing is like asking President Joe Biden to enforce the border. Both might do what you want, but they hate you, and the only reason they might listen is out of self-interest. Very true. If Budweiser sides with its customers, that's all that matters. Bud Light keeps trying to placate beer drinkers without making any changes. It releases 2 bogus commercials designed to bring conservative beer drinkers back to the brand. And then the last way is the crash and burn scenario. This result is more likely than it should be. Inertia takes hold, and Budweiser execs, their eventual replacements, and even their corporate bosses are all afraid to pick a side. Instead, much like New Coke, they let the product line die. This time they only throw marketing and corporate support to get a new light beer, or maybe more than one. That's what I think is probably going to happen. I think they're going to have to completely rebrand Bud Light and probably move away from Bud Light altogether, because now, you know, that brand, that color, you know, the blue color, the Bud Light logo, everybody associates that with gay beer. Like you just can't, you cannot recover from that. It's going viral on TikTok a million times over. Every single person out there, even if you don't know why, you know that people aren't drinking Bud Light because it's gay beer. I've seen tons of videos. I keep saying it, I'll say it again. There's a ton of people going viral on TikTok. There's, you know, people who are sales reps for Anheuser-Busch going viral on TikTok for showing us over and over how they are unable to sell any Bud Light. There's no reason to restock in any of these grocery stores, of any of these gas stations, because nobody's buying it. And I saw that one video that I'll keep bringing up where a guy and his son was looking, they were recording the Bud Light boxes, and an older guy, and they were making a TikTok, you know, making fun of Bud Light. And an older guy came up behind them and was like, "Oh, you're really going to buy that gay beer?" Was talking to the two guys. Every single person, every single age group, every single demographic understands that people don't like Bud Light right now, and that if you get seen walking out of the store with Bud Light, you're probably going to go viral on TikTok. People are probably going to make fun of you at the very least. Imagine they get savvy and try to segment the market, come up with a USA brand for old Bud Light drinkers and a woke brand for the Mulvaney crowd. It might work, or the company might just end up ceding the light beer market to its competitors by the time they get around to taking action. Execs are already wondering how many of those who switched will be coming back. It's not like Bud Light tastes good in the first place. It's true. It's not like the fact that, you know, they taste so good that it's hard to stop drinking Bud Light. Nobody really, like, I know there's going to be some people in the comments that say that they do, but there's not many people out there who really love the product of Bud Light. You buy it because it's cheap. Like that's really what it is. And the brand recognition is there. Everybody knows what Bud Light is. You know, if you see the Bud Light color, the Bud Light logo, you know exactly what that is. It's very hard to build up a brand to that point. And now you have a Bud Light brand that is no longer just a beer brand that's very recognizable, but a very recognizable beer brand for all the wrong reasons. For the fact that it's a gay beer, for the fact that they supported Dylan Mulvaney, and most of all, the fact that there's just a boycott going on, even if you don't know why. All these people are, a lot of people don't even know why people aren't drinking Bud Light. They just see the stacks and stacks of Bud Light boxes that nobody is touching, and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to buy that. If nobody else is buying it, why the hell would I buy it? There must be something wrong with this beer, or maybe they're not buying it for a reason." So it's just kind of like a sheep type mindset where everybody sees that others aren't buying Bud Light. Everybody's making fun of Bud Light, so why the hell would I buy Bud Light? And it's just a compounding effect. And here is the bonus round that Fox News says. This is where they're saying that the CEO and all the other executives might end up getting fired. I don't know if that's likely or not. I don't think that the CEO of Anheuser-Busch is getting fired personally, but I guess anything's on the table at this point. Like I said, I'm sure the shareholders want heads to roll. They want people to be held accountable, and I mean, that would be a good way of doing it. I don't know if they should do that. I don't know much about the CEO of Bud Light other than he's claiming that he served the country because he worked for the CIA, and I don't really know if that's serving the country. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about the CEO of Anheuser-Busch possibly getting fired and the fact that they fired their third-party ad agency. How many more people do you think are going to get fired from this whole Dylan Mulvaney situation? I think it's going to be quite a few. Let me know what you guys think, though. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you again in the next one.